Hey everyone, it's Fentony. Production for the third Fantastic Beasts film has been postponed. We're not sure when it's going to resume, but for now we've got a brand new interview from Sci-Fi Wire with Dan Fogler, who plays Jacob Kowalski, and I will leave a link down in the description. He says, "I can say I read the script and the character development is really lovely, and it's very similar to the feel of the first movie, which I think is great. It's leading toward this massive war with the backdrop of World War II, so you can just imagine, epic battle scenes are coming. We are just waiting, I guess, when everybody else starts back up, when the mechanism starts to move again, and everybody starts to get back to work, that's when we'll get back to work. Hopefully sooner than later." So let's break this down. What does Dan mean when he says, similar to the feel of the first film? Is that him throwing shade at the second film? Perhaps he likes the first film better. We all know by now the second film has been heavily criticised by a lot of people, fans and critics, for many reasons. Either the plot, the canon breaking moments, or whatever. But I feel we've kind of bashed Crimes of Grindelwald enough, and we're ready to move on. And because the reviews, and more importantly the box office, were not as good as Warner Bros. Hoped, they pushed the third film back a whole year, to November 2021. Suppose that's to help J.K. Rowling rework the script, and make a better film that can stand alone as its own movie, instead of just feeling as one movie in 5. Which of course it is, it's 1 of 5 films, it's part 2 of 5. You're not meant to know all the answers yet. But I will admit, Crimes of Grindelwald is not a great film on its own. It kind of feels like the entire 2 hours is just setting up the third film, and if you compare it to other franchises like Marvel movies, you can understand why it doesn't stand on its own as good. Or even Harry Potter. Take for instance Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. That sets up the Deathly Hallows so much, but it's also got its own story and you can watch it on its own. It works as a standalone. Crimes of Grindelwald, not so much. Anyways, I'm rambling now. Fantastic Beasts 3 feeling more like the first film. Take this with a grain of salt, but I like it. I actually really enjoy the first film. We have to wait and see if this is actually going to happen, if the third film is going to feel like the first, and just because one actor says it doesn't mean it's going to happen. But I'm optimistic. So let's talk about the massive war, the backdrop of World War II, and the epic battle scenes. This was teased in the second film when Grindelwald shared a vision of World War II with his followers. And we know the epic duel between Dumbledore and Grindelwald, which happens in 1945, ends Grindelwald's campaign, at the same time of the Second World War, in Europe. Dumbledore defeats Grindelwald, he wins the Elder Wand, and Grindelwald is locked in prison until he's killed by Voldemort in the Deathly Hallows. It's pretty obvious this massive war that's coming is going to be a big part of the remaining 3 films. We know film 3 is going to be set in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, but of course there's going to be other places as well. Expect Hogwarts, London, Nuremberg, and who knows where else. Grindelwald himself might not even be in Rio. Newt might be there on some other adventure, whilst Grindelwald plots his next move in Nuremberg, leading to the Wizarding War in Europe and beyond. It's likely we don't know everything about Grindelwald's plan. We know he wants to tear down the International Statute of Secrecy, which is a law that hides the Wizarding World from the Muggles. It's designed to protect the Wizarding World, but Grindelwald feels like it makes the Wizarding World inferior, allows the Muggles to stay on top. He wants to start a war with the Muggles, with the outcome of making the Wizarding World rule over them. And it's likely he's going to use the threat of World War II to gain more followers. If we don't stop the Muggles now, look what's going to happen. They will soon have more powerful weapons they'll use against us. I think Grindelwald really does care for the Wizarding World, but we've seen what he's willing to do to achieve these goals, such as ordering the death of a Muggle toddler. He's a very dangerous man, he has his followers, he has the Elder Wand, and now Credence. This is just the beginning, the war is just starting, and it's going to be much bigger than Voldemort's war in Britain. This war is going to involve countries all over the world. But I want you guys to post in the comments below your thoughts on what Dan Fogler said about this film feeling more like the first one. Jacob is one of my favourite characters in the entire series, and no mage in the Wizarding World is quite unique for this series, and his relationship with Queenie is my favourite. But now that Queenie's in Grindelwald's gang, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with them. I want to see her and Jacob happy, but there's a lot going on right now, with their personal life and of course the Wizarding World War. But I think that's enough for today. I've rambled quite a lot in this video. Whenever filming resumes or whenever we get any more Fantastic Beasts or Harry Potter news, I will be making videos. If you want to get them videos, make sure you subscribe, turn the notifications on to get them ASAP. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Click here to learn all about his Dark Materials Season 2. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.